you shall begin to see what the Lord has in store for you.
God preserves faithful people.
If you do this, your life will turn around.
When God blesses you, the world will begin to be mesmerized by what the Lord is doing in your life. Father, I pray, release the grace of being faithful in this commission. Why is love said to be blind? Why is love said to be blind? Does any of you have an idea that love is blind? Paul, why do you think it's said to be blind? You overlook a lot of things. Okay. Done. Is love blind? It's not. Leah, what do you think? Is love blind? Yeah, okay. It's optional. What's your name? Milan. Milan. Those are some Greek names, eh? Okay. You're welcome. So, love is said to be blind. Don't defend it. It's blind. And I'll tell you why. Because when you fall in love, actually it's love and death. It's blind and deaf. Because when you fall in love, trust you me, you won't see any danger. You won't see any problem. And if we tell you there is a problem, you'll not hear. So love is not only blind, it's also deaf. And that's something very dangerous. I'm telling you. Talk to people who have fallen in love. You try to tell them the person you have fallen in love with is a killer. They say, I'm ready to be killed. It is that blind. It's that blind. That is why we have a lot of casualties in the love garden. Because they fell in love, they became blind to so many things. Not only the faults, not only the red flags and all those things. That is why it is said to be blind and deaf to you who has fallen in love. But those who are outside that love thing, they can see your foolishness and your blindness. And this is where, if you understand that, when you fall in love, you will not keep off people. You will want people who are sober to check on what is happening around you. It's like, you know this whirlwind? When you're in the middle of the whirlwind, you can't see anything, isn't it? That is how love is. You are in that kind of a whirlwind thing. You cannot see anything at all. And that is what has made a lot of people to suffer seriously. And that is what I'll be attempting to keep you from hurting. So, it's my prayer that you will be able to understand some of the things I'll be teaching today. So there are three things that young people confuse for love. There are three things that young adults confuse for love. I'm just trying to lay a little foundation before we get deeper. Three things that young people confuse for love. And these three things are the ones behind the heartbreaks, the pain, the regrets, the inner vows that young people have already made. I'll never marry, I'll never do this, I know this. It all came from these three. Number one is what we call infatuation. Infatuation is a one-sided kind of love. You fall in love with somebody who has not fallen in love with you. you fall in love with somebody who is not even interested in you. And as a result, you overwork yourself to make the person to love you. You do so much to get so little. It's called infatuation. And many young people have fallen into this trap. It's one-sided. So you are the one that is losing sleep. You are the one that is always calling. You're the only one that is always giving endearments. Call them sugar cane, and all those endearments. But the other side, they don't. You are the one who says, I love you, good night, good morning. But them, they don't. It's like you're always, chasing after them. It's one-sided. And some people think it's love. Please don't fall victim to infatuation. It's a one-sided thing. One-sided enterprise. It will always backfire on you with serious pain. And most of the time you say, that person used me. You will use your money. You will use your time and so many other things. And that is why it is very, very important you make sure you don't fall victim to infatuation. Number two. The number two thing that young people confuse with love is obsession. Obsession. Obsession is where you are so convinced in your heart that that is the best thing that you got, and that is the only person there is on earth for you. And therefore, that person is too precious, too valuable, that you cannot even imagine that person leaving you or being away from you because you are obsessed. It's another word for possession. You know, demonic possession. This is love possession. It's called obsession. Yeah. You are possessed with a feeling that that person is the only one there is on earth. By the way, did you know there is no Mrs. Right, Miss Right, or Mr. Right? Anybody can be right for you. There is nothing. It's a fallacy that young people have taken from the soap operas, Alejandro and all those things. There is nothing like Mr. Right, Mrs. Right. It is a relationship. You learn how to live with somebody. You learn how to live with somebody. Our parents years ago were not choosing who to marry. True or false? Yeah, they would be brought somebody and said, this will be your wife, this will be your husband. And they made it. So there was no issue of Mr. Right, Miss Right. There wasn't. And it worked. Now, in your generation where you are so into Miss Right and Mr. Right, the tall, dark, and handsome, have you ever met somebody saying, what is the success of your marriage? And then they say, the secret of the success of my marriage is the hate of my husband. The hate is the one that is making the marriage to work. There's nothing like that. It's the beauty. My wife is beautiful. That is how my marriage is. There's nothing like that. Love is overrated. Today you hear things and I believe you will not make mistakes. So Paul, there is no misright. You can just choose to learn how to live with someone. That's why the first marriage, love was not a factor. The first marriage, Adam did not fall in love. He fell in need. You hear that? Adam did not fall in love. He just fell in need. God said, it is not good for him to be alone. He needs a helper. So he fell in need. While ladies fall in love, men fall in need. You must know that. Men fall in need. When they need you, that's when they tell you they love you. But actually they don't. They just need you. It is a system that has been set up. We fall in need. Men fall in need. Somebody needs you he is feeling empty, he has something that you need to solve, and therefore he falls for you. If you meet that need, he can now do away with you. That's why men have broken so many hearts, because they hardly fall in love, they fall in need. So the ladies fall in love, and that is why you must watch out for obsession. Don't obsess that, oh, this is the only one, this is the only one. It's a lie. It's not the only one. Be ready to walk away when you notice some things. I'll be teaching us some of these things. The next thing confused for love is attraction. Attraction. Mostly sexual attraction. This is another thing that many people think it is love. You may be attracted. And you know, right now, one of the top industries that is making it big financially is the attraction industry. I mean, the number of powders they are making for attraction, the creams that they are making, the lotions, the perfumes, the deodorants that they are, or the investment on attractions is so serious. And that is why this is the weakness of ladies. Attraction. Nothing else. They invest heavily on attraction and nothing else. So they can attract. They attract including the wrong ones, because they have invested heavily in attraction. They will invest in their hair, their nail, their face, their walking style, their clothes, the shoes, everything, the perfumes, the language, the appearance, the head gears, and all those things. They are investing massively in attraction. But it's one thing to attract a man, it's another thing to retain the person. That's why you must learn matters of relationships. Are we together? So attraction is not enough in relationship.